One Zambia, one nation. You are watching Zanis News. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. A look at the headlines in our news. Sponsored girls abandon KGS program in Chinsali district. Chipata printing press to improve government operations. Muchinga province records reduction in stunting levels. And Wama fears cholera outbreak in Kitwe district. Zanis News in detail. Chinsali District Education Board Secretary Pardon Tesho has expressed worry over some girls who are on Keeping Girls in School program absconding school despite government paying for them. Mr. Tesho says it is worrying to note that the girls are staying away from a program that is aimed at enriching their lives. Pamela Inambao has details in the following report.
Government has continued to change the lives of the young girls through the Keeping Girls in School KGS initiative, which provides bursaries to secondary school girls from vulnerable households benefiting from social cash transfer. The program, which was rolled out to Chinsali district this year, has helped reduce barriers of education for vulnerable girls, and some KGS beneficiaries in Chinsali district have expressed gratitude to government for the financial support.
Despite having some problems at home, financially, so the KGS is helping us so that we can remain in school, so that we can be educated. All I can say is thank you, they are doing well, and they should continue doing the same to other pupils.
We are grateful to government for the support. It has encouraged us to go back to school.
Others have appealed to their fellow young girls to get back to school.
I'm calling on other girls that are not yet in school due to financial challenges to get back to school, as government is providing free education through KGS.
Meanwhile, Chinsali District Education Board Secretary Pardon Tesho has expressed a worry over some girls on Keeping Girls in School KGS program who are not in school despite government paying for them.
The pupils have started reporting and KGS is paying for them. Not all of them have been paid at the same time. We are paying in phases. Our guardians, a few of them cannot be located. When we go in schools to find out if those pupils are at school and really coming from the homes where we captured them from, they are nowhere to be seen. We want to help people who deserve the hand from the government.
Pamela Inambao reporting for Zanis in Chinsali, Muchinga province.
In business news, government with support from the World Bank has launched a 2.5 million United States dollar credit line facility for increased access to renewable energy in rural areas. The facility, which is aimed at encouraging private investment in renewable energy, is part of the 26.5 million United States dollar electricity service access project, which is meant to facilitate and promote off-grid electricity investment in rural areas. Sunday Walia now reports.
Access to electricity, especially among the rural community, has continued to be low due to a number of reasons. Among them is inadequate and limited opportunities to access funding. This is why in 2018, government signed a 26.5 million loan financing agreement with the International Development Association of the World Bank for the Electricity Services Access Project. Out of this funding, a total of 2.5 million United States dollars has been set aside for private sector-led electrification of rural communities through rural electrification mini-grids and standalone solar systems.
We have made steady progress in meeting the aspirations outlined in various government policy documents such as the Rural Electrification Master Plan, the Vision 2030, and the 8th National Development Plan. However, we've identified lack of private sector participation as a major impediment to our efforts.
Development Bank of Zambia is the institution that has been given the mandate to manage the credit facility and is certain that the project will unlock the country's potential in renewable energy.
Let me also hasten to say that ASAP offering loan facility being launched today is the bank's first credit facility specifically targeted for renewable energy projects. This is an important achievement for the Department of Energy, RIA, the World Bank, Zanaco, and DBZ in supporting the government's effort to increase energy access.
The Zambia National Commercial Bank, which is the retail lender, is looking forward to strengthen partnerships in increasing access to electricity in the country.
As we collectively drive improved access to electricity countrywide and accelerate economic growth in Zambia. This is especially relevant at this time, considering the fact that reliable energy is the lifeblood of any economy. As Zanaco, we are committed to supporting the government of Zambia in its target to electrify 1,217 rural growth centers by the year 2030.
For the funders, the World Bank is encouraging Zambia to accelerate its efforts in improving access to electricity.
The project supports the expansion of the national grid for rural electrification, grid connections, as well as mini-grids and energy kiosk project development in rural areas, in addition, of course, to the credit line which will supplement all of those efforts. The credit line is just a pilot phase, and I want to emphasize that this is just a pilot phase from our perspective.
The ESA project is aimed at increasing electricity access in rural areas in Zambia in line with the 8th National Development Plan and the Vision 2030. Sunday we're reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
In Lusaka province, government has allocated 2 million kwacha for the construction of a new police station in Kafue district. The police station has also received 1 million kwacha from the Constituency Development Fund to purchase a new police vehicle. Jonathan Mkuka has more in the following report.
This is Kafue Police Station, which was constructed in 1954. This building has not been spared by floods which have hit parts of the district. The building has since been abandoned after being flooded, and officers have moved into a nearby police building.
To be given the allocations, what we built a modern police facility, because this facility was built in 1954, and it is always flooded whenever it rains, as you can see outside the Bwana PS.
Not all hope is lost for the Zambia police in Kafue, as government has earmarked to construct a new building at a cost of 2 million kwacha, with another 1 million kwacha allocated for the purchase of a new vehicle.
For this year, we have been given an allocation of 1 million for the purchase of a Land Cruiser, because we have a challenge in terms of transport because of the vastness of the areas that we cover under our area of responsibility.
Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata has saluted police officers in Kafue and has encouraged them to continue working hard.
But we are so happy that Kafue is one of the police stations that are doing very well. Why I say so is because this is a transit point. This is so many, there's too much traffic along this road. And of course, where there's too much traffic, you expect a lot of accidents. Of course, it's not our wish, but an accident is an accident. We don't anticipate an accident. They just happen. That's why they're called accidents. So these police officers are always on their toes to make sure that they do their work diligently.
Jonathan reporting for Zanis News in Kafue, Lusaka Province.
In Eastern Province, Minister of Information and Media Chushika Sanda says the printing press in Chipata district will improve the translation of government policies and programs into local languages. The minister says once operationalized, the printing press will also cut on costs that local businesses incur to have their productions printed in Lusaka. And in a related development, the Ministry of Information and Media has this year increased the budgetary allocation for the Zambia News and Information Services Zanis in order to address the operational challenges the institution is facing. The ministry also plans to procure equipment for Zanis offices across the country to ease working conditions for its officers.
Our people to understand what government is doing. And secondly, we also have staffing levels is too low. In some parts of Eastern Province, we don't have staff, adequate staff, I should say, to assist in dissemination of information and policies that government is doing. We also have small problems like public address systems. We have very old system that we are still using. So it would be prudent if we can have maybe new systems that we can be using to disseminate information also. It's quite important.
2023 budget, we have been allocated some funds as Zanis, and we are buying equipment. And from the equipment that we will buy, Honorable Minister, I can assure you that we will definitely give you some of that equipment that we are going to procure this year. A challenge of transport, yes, is there, and we'll try by all means to see how best we can handle that issue, taking into account that the budget for Ministry of Information is not a big budget, as you are aware, but we thought it was important that we start with the equipment. We equip our people. Once we equip our people, then we'll look into the issue of transport as well in the long run. And I've heard your appeal also on the funding for the province, but I would also like to appeal to you, Minister, that if your provincial administration is able to help us, because I know in other provinces, I'll give an example of Southern Province, our people are well catered for there by the provincial administration. So I would also ask you, for the meantime, to cushion us as we try and find funds.
We take you to the Copperbelt province, where installation of solar streetlights by the local authority has commenced in Mpongwe district. Town Council Chairperson Emmanuel Masanga says the installation of the solar streetlights is being done using the local authorities' capital funds. Noah Kangali filed in this report.
Known as the breadbasket of the Copperbelt, Mpongwe district has continued to contribute immensely to the national food basket. However, security concerns have for a long time existed in the agriculture town, prompting the local authority to set up solar streetlights in order to curb the high level of crime in the district. Emmanuel Masanga is Mpongwe Town Council Chairperson.
We've started installing streetlights in Mpongwe for the first time ever, and it is being done using capital funds. The council, we saw it fit to uplift the face of our district. It's important that we have streetlights in our road for the sake of security, and I'm happy to report that the response from the people, they are so excited about the streetlight. The stretch that we've done is about 500 meters, and we intend to extend it.
Meanwhile, Mr. Masanga has vowed to utilize the 2023 Constituency Development Fund to unlock the district's food development potential.
For the 2022 CDF, we approved about 22 projects that will be done, dotted in various wards, and people will be able to see the result this year. I can assure the people out there that they will see a lot of things from our council. We are a team, motivated team. We want to deliver the much needed development out there.
Noah Kangali for Zanis in Mpongwe.
In Central Province, Senior Chief Chakumbila of the Sala people of Mumba district has appealed to government for relief aid for his subjects that have been adversely affected by floods. The traditional leader has observed that the road infrastructure crop fields and grazing areas have all been submerged in water, leaving his subjects in a desperate situation. Kruger Siankulu now reports.
This is Muchavi area of Senior Chief Shakumbila in Mumbwa district. As could be seen, the boats can now sail on top of the various crops that have been submerged due to heavy rainfall. Senior Chief Shakumbila of the Sala people has appealed to the government for relief services for his subjects.
We are putting an earnest appeal to the government to quickly move in to uplift our bridges here to the modern standard. And we need food relief as quickly as possible. Because the families which have been affected with water, probably this time they have no food, as I can imagine.
And Mumbwa Town Council Chairperson Charlie Masumo could only access the fields using a boat.
We have cotton, we have soybeans, and sunflower. So it means this year we have a lot of hunger. And as you see, we have so far visited about 10 maize fields. So all the fields that we have visited, the crops are gone.
Meanwhile, Mumbwa District Commissioner Namkulo Hayumbu now shares the relief measures the government has put in place.
For the past 4 days, we've been going around the district. Now at Muchavi, we have just received a boat, a banana boat, which will be brought in tomorrow for the people to be crossing, because a lot of school children are cut off.
The movements of people are restricted here due to the overflow of water in most crossing points, while hunger is beckoning at the doors of the locals. Kruger Siankulu, Zanis, Mumbwa.
Zanis News continues. President Hakainde Hichilema has appointed presidential spokesperson Anthony Bwalya as Deputy High Commissioner at the Zambian Embassy in the United Republic of Tanzania. The appointment of Mr. Bwalya into the diplomatic service is with immediate effect. The President has since thanked Mr. Bwalya for his contribution at State House since his appointment as presidential spokesperson in 2021. The head of state has expressed confidence that Mr. Bwalya will serve the government and the citizens of Zambia to the best of his ability as he takes up his new appointment in Tanzania. This is contained in a statement issued to Zanis by Secretary to the Cabinet Patrick Kangwa. Now, Muchinga province has recorded a reduction in stunting levels of children under the age of 5. Provincial Deputy Permanent Secretary Matthews Chilekwa says according to the 2018 to 2022 report of the Scaling Up Nutrition Sun Project, malnutrition levels have reduced from 44% to 32%. Reverend Chilekwa charged that the reduction in stunting levels can be attributed to the various interventions that have been put in place by government and its cooperating partners. And the National Food and Nutrition Commission Head of Training and Collaboration, Mike Mwanza, says the commission, working with various cooperating partners, is committed to reducing malnutrition in the country through SUN projects. The 1,000 Most Critical Days program under the Scaling Up Nutrition is now in its second phase.
According to the ZHS report 2018 to 2019, to date, the levels of stunting in children under 5 years are at 35% in Zambia. In Muchinga province, levels are at 32.4%, slightly below the national average. This shows that the program is yielding positive results towards reducing stunting in Muchinga and the country at large.
It's upon us, the government, to take lead and to make sure that we take ownership of this program, because for us as government, we are taking it as a program. But for the people who are coming to help us, it's a project. They can come and leave. So if we take ownership and we take it that this is a program, we know we are looking at issues of sustainability and ownership.
Government has announced that supply of essential medicines to health facilities will be prioritized. Northern Province Minister Leonard Mbao says this is being actualized in order to strengthen the healthcare system, the healthcare service delivery system. Kweto Mumba filed in this report.
Medical supplies are a critical part of the healthcare delivery system. Ensuring a steady flow of essential medicines is one of the measures being undertaken by government to avoid shortages. In Northern Province, Provincial Minister Leonard Mbao has met with health officials to receive an update on the availability of medicines.
Generally, as a province, we are well above 60% availability of the essential drugs. So we are not facing that huge challenge because we have instructed all the facilities to reserve some money as part of their grants to procure drugs locally, those essential ones.
Our availability of the essential medicine was at 60%, and we don't have much of the challenges. And this week, in fact, yesterday, we had dispatched a team of the procurement officer into Lusaka.
Mr. Mbao has since assured the public that government is committed to ensuring the availability of medicines in health facilities.
We are very happy, especially against public perception, so that we don't have medicines in hospitals. We are told here to say that we are quite safe because we are at 60%, and we are also looking forward to receive some more, which means we might even go beyond the 60% we are going to have.
The minister further highlighted some of the efforts towards strengthening healthcare service provision in the region.
We are hoping that again in the quickest possible time we can find money so that we complete the construction of the Bangono Hospital, which is going to relieve a bit of pressure from here.
We have gone ahead to open 20 mini hospitals, which are helping Kasama General Hospital now to have a relief.
Kweto Mumba for Zanis in Kasama.
12 out of 15 districts have completed the distribution of inputs for the 2022-2023 farming season under the Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP. Eastern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri says the remaining 3 Kasenengwa, Chipangali and Katete are currently at 98% distribution. Ms. Piri notes that all the districts have completed distributing D-compound fertilizer, and the 3 that are at 98% are only remaining with the distribution of urea. Ms. Piri, however, cautioned recipients of the inputs under FISIP against selling the fertilizer. She says the whole purpose of FISIP is to have food security in homes and not to be sold for profits by unscrupulous people.
We are aware that Eastern Province has got 15 districts, and out of the 15 districts, we can safely say that 12 have been done. The 3 that are remaining are Kasenengwa, Chipangali and Katete, and we hope to finish by the end of this week. For the rest of the districts, we've done 100%, both on D, we've done 100%, both D and urea rather, and then for Kasenengwa, Katete and Chipangali, we finished with D, we're only remaining with urea, and we're at 98%. If we are going to move very fast, I should say before the end of this week we should be done. But clearly I think we are done in most of the districts. It's clearly sad that we are procuring as government at a huge cost fertilizer to see that our farmers are selling that fertilizer either to the dealers or in other countries that are bordering Zambia, that are close to us here in Eastern Province. It's very sad and should not be allowed, because there are many who want to be put on this FISIP program, and you know government cannot give it to everyone. But if beneficiaries who are given this fertilizer, who are supposed to make sure that it's taken to its intended purpose, are selling, then that's unfortunate. And we would like to also maybe caution our people that should anyone be found selling FISIP fertilizer, we ensure that we engage the police, so that people should know that it's illegal in the first place, that when you get something that is given to you for its intended use, you're using it for something else to gain even more of what you didn't, you're not supposed to gain. It's wrong. And also you are taking away the very fact that government wants to help the farmers to have food security in their homes. The whole purpose of FISIP is for food security in the home.
And finally, in the news, fears for a possible cholera outbreak have risen in Kitwe district following expected flash floods from the Kafue River. The floods are expected to occur along the river banks where they are projected to affect residents using pit latrines and shallow water wells. According to a warning statement from the Water Resource and Management Authority, WAMA, Kitwe is among the 7 districts expected to experience flash floods due to heavy rains. Here is a report.
As heavy rains continue being recorded in Kitwe, water levels in the Kafue River are rapidly rising. This has raised fear among people settled along the river banks. Last week, the Water Resources and Management Authority, WAMA, warned that Kitwe is among the districts expected to have flash floods due to heavy rains.
As the Kitwe District Administration, under the Office of the District Commissioner, we have received the warnings with regards to anticipated the floods to occur in Kitwe district.
This may lead to submerging of water treatment plants belonging to Nkana Water and Sanitation Company and contamination of water, as the floods are expected in places where people use pit latrines. The water utility company says it is ready to mitigate the problem.
Yes, what we are looking at now is the Vulangiro intake of Nkana Water Supply and Sanitation Company. As a company, we have done an assessment and we have looked at the probability of the intake being affected by the floods as warned by WAMA. So what we have done is by design, the way the intake was designed, the suction is below the riverbed. And when the suction is below the riverbed, simply means that the other facilities are on top of the riverbed. Now with the flooding, we expect that the pit latrines will be filled up with storm water and forcing all the fecal matter now to come out and start flowing on the surface. That will lead to bring issues of disease now, possibly an outbreak of diarrheal diseases, which can also lead to an outbreak of cholera.
And the Kitwe District Administration has already put in place logistics in case of any disaster resulting from the expected flash floods.
Okay, in terms of those who are likely to be or they would be affected by the anticipated floods, as the Kitwe District Administration, we are prepared. We are on top of things, working with provincial administration. We have requested 4 tents, and these tents are coming, and we have started receiving the tents from provincial administration.
And the residents are worried about the rising water levels.
But sana fena manda yonsayadi ukuyadiwa so tuishiwe uno mwako kwa yarasika pantu yasiko hapo
ali twebelya timufumeko kuno but inchende tabatupera fwe bambi balepera bakumurundi.
The flash floods are expected to reach their peak in February. Liz Ngobeka reporting for Zanis in Kitwe.
Welcome to Weather Update as produced by the Zambia Meteorological Department in the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. To present it, I'm Chanda Chimom. Rainfall activities have continued across the country. Let's look at the satellite image as captured this afternoon. The tropical storm Kenenso has continued to maintain the ITZZ over the southern part of the country, leading to rainfall activities and the cloud weather conditions. Expected rainfall tomorrow, 26th of January. We expect rainfall across the country with areas shaded in green expected to receive rainfall